Thanks for checking out the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to see me play your deck, hang out with me in the amazing BoshNRoll community in Discord, access to my lists and sideboard guides before tournaments, book an individual coaching session, or just generally want to support what's going on here, check out the Patreon and YouTube membership options. For the finest Magic the Gathering apparel on the market, use code BoshNRoll for 10% off your order at coalesceapparel.shop. Moxfield.com is the easiest way to build a Magic deck online. If you want to play what I'm playing, use my affiliate link to support the channel while you shop for cards at tcgplayer.com and play any deck anytime on Magic Online with a cardhoarder.com loan account. Thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic.
Welcome back to another BoshNRoll video. Today, at the request of Patreon subscriber Abe, I am playing Simic Emerge in Modern. You didn't miss this one on the meta list. This is a for real brew, and I'm excited about it. It's based on the Emerge mechanic, featured most prominently on Elder Deep Fiend, but there's also a Wretched Gryff in the deck. Emerge means you may cast a spell by sacrificing a creature and paying the emerge cost reduced by that creature's mana value. What that means is this Elder Deep Fiend is an 8 mana spell. You could just pay 8 colorless mana for it, or 8 mana of any color, 8 generic mana, not colorless. That is a different thing. Or its emerge cost is 5 blue, which means if you sacrifice Wood Elves, this costs 2 blue instead of 5 blue. You can cast this on turn 4 if you turn 3 Wood Elves, and then turn 4 you can flash in Elder Deep Fiend by paying 4 mana and sacking the Wood Elves. If you sack something like Subtlety or Venser, that will cover the colored mana requirement. So Elder Deep Fiend would just cost 3 generic mana. And that's how that works. It's a very cool mechanic. It's a very powerful mechanic. It was a player in its entire standard format. Yours truly has done pretty well with Elder Deep Fiend over the years. It was in the standard deck that I won the Star City Invitational with. It was also in the first generation Pioneer deck when Star City ran Pioneer as part of their Invitational as well. I top 32'd that event. I love me an Elder Deep Fiend. Big fan of this card. Normally, when I've played it, it's been paired with Kozilek's Return because it triggers the back half of K-Return, which is just a crazy endgame against any deck playing creatures. But the 5/6 Time Walk is pretty good too. When you cast the spell, tap up to 4 target permanents, and it has flash. You curve it out early. The deck is full of value-oriented 3-drops on purpose, so you can flash this in your opponent's 3rd or 4th upkeep as often as possible, tap all their lands, and then you have a 5/6 in play that they have to start dealing with. And they don't have any mana to do it for a turn cycle. Really cool interaction, and I'm excited I get to play with this card again. Some other stuff going on in the deck. It's pure Simic, so removal isn't exactly good. We do have to overpower or tap things to remove them. There is Subtlety and Venser in the deck to control the stack and what's in play. The endgame of the deck, and I love this choice, is Frost Titan, or blue, the forgotten younger brother of Primeval Titan. 6/6 creature giant. When this becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, counter that spell or ability unless its controller pays 2. That's slightly better than Ward. I believe Ward is only spells, not abilities. So you get spells and abilities out of Frost Titan's pseudo Ward. And when this enters the battlefield or attacks, tap target permanent, it doesn't untap for its controller's next untap step. You get to lock something down when this shows up and every time it attacks. Which dovetails into Repudiate Replicate, which I promise is a card I've never had in a deck before, and I'm excited about this as well. The front half is a 2 mana Stifle, counter target activated or triggered ability. The back half is create a token that's a copy of target creature you control. How about a Frost Titan? You get 2 or 3 of these attacking. They're 6/6s, so the game ends quickly, and you tap down all the blockers or you lock down all their lands, and they're never in the game. Freaking sweet. Love it. And the floor on this is it pitches to Subtlety. Count it. The endurances and subtleties are sweet with the emerge cards, because if you ever have to pitch cast them, and they're about to die anyway, Elder Deep Fiend, you could sacrifice the elemental while it's temporarily in play to get a discounted Deep Fiend. So it becomes kind of a Force of Will and a Dark Ritual at the same time if you pitch cast a Subtlety while you have Deep Fiend in hand. Just a cool overlap. I'm not sure how often that's going to come up because you do still need 3 mana around, so you don't get to like turn 1 Subtlety a scam player and deploy a 5/6. Though Subtlety plus Endurance is 5 blue if you want to spend. Oh, but you don't get to sacrifice multiple creatures, right? Sacrificing a creature. Yeah, this isn't Phyrexian Dreadnought. You can't dump multiple creatures into the emerge cost. Disappointing. I got excited for a second that turn 0 Deep Fiend was live, but it's not. Okay. Yeah, so Dark Ritual, Force of Will, but you can't ever get a free Deep Fiend. Sanctum of Ugin is the last cool card I want to talk about in this deck. Taps for colorless, and whenever you cast a colorless spell with mana value 7 or greater, that would be your Wretched Gryph or your Deep Fiend, you may sacrifice Sanctum of Ugin. If you do, search your library for a colorless creature card, reveal it, and put it into your hand, then shuffle. That means your first Deep Fiend finds your second Deep Fiend, and then you can Time Walk your opponent again and add another 5-power creature to the board and tempo them out real quick from there. If you have a bunch of mana and need something to do with it, there's a couple Walking Ballistas in the deck. That is a nod to the fact that Simic is really bad at killing anything. And it also puts some reach in the deck, and it's tutorable with Sanctum of Ugin. We are an Arbor Elf Utopia Sprawl and 6 ramp creature deck. I imagine we'll have some medium amount of mana kicking around in the mid game. If nothing else is going on, Walking Ballista could get us there. I imagine if you really wanted to tighten up this list, Replicate, Repudiate might be better as something like Brazen Borrower. I don't know if you need 2 Walking Ballistas or if 1 is enough to tutor for it when it's a thing you want to be doing, but a lot of the time, maybe you don't want to be doing that. Also, Temur Emerge was the deck in Standard at the time because Kozilek's Return is just so powerful with Elder Deep Fiend. But I'm going to leave all of these spicy choices where they are. I'm not going to add a color to the deck. This is the main deck we're going to run with. The deck when I got it was 3 copies of Venser, and I turned 2 of them into Subtlety. For all of the reasons we described. It's just good against Scam in general in the format, and it's another elemental that you could sack at instant speed for Deep Fiend while doing a pretty good Venser impression. Venser removes things from play and not just the stack, which is why I have this still as 1 copy in the deck. The sideboard, there's some obvious stuff like more Subtleties, Mystical Disputes, Force of Vigors. That should all make sense. Veil of Summer. Kitchen Finks is fun. This is a card that you could sacrifice to emerge, and then it persists back right away. I don't think this is the best tool against creature decks or the best tool against burn decks, but in the context of this deck where you're emerging, it makes a lot of sense. And I like it. I'm going to keep it. And then Aether Spouts. This is a sick one. Draft Bomb from N15. 3 blue, instant. For each attacking creature, its owner puts it on the top or bottom of their library. Pretty crazy conditional one-sided blue Wrath of God, but we're going to be glad we have it if it comes up. There are some attacking decks in Modern. This clears Primeval Titans and creatures holding hammers and whatever you got. And once again, I'm not totally sure this is better than something like Brazen Borrower or Subtlety number 4 or even like Literal Fog. That's a card we could play, but we're going to play it because it's spicy and I love it. There it is. This is Abe's Simic Emerge. Let's go try it out. I'm on the draw in round 1. This hand desperately needs a Wood Elves. I'm going to keep, though. It does have the payoff. It has some ramp. Oh god, we're just going to get lit up by Burn in round 1. Yeah, we are. I think I actually need to Subtlety this thing. Just give me 1 turn to breathe here. Put the Goblin Guide on top. Okay. This lets me at least get started on the elf-related stuff. Though, they're a deck full of Lightning Bolts. They might just use their 2 mana to Lightning Bolt, then redeploy Goblin Guide. Or play 2 Goblin Guides. Okay. Let's see how this goes. They revealed 2 Replicate Repudiates. Okay. I'm going to get a basic island. And I'm going to replicate my Arbor Elf. This is what we got. Let's go. Some triggers and 2 Utopia Sprawls. That's actually kind of hot. Got to take a lot of damage over it. Let's see if they burn off my elves or what they want to do here. Okay, unfortunately, I have to take 2 to get this started. And then Utopia Sprawl. I'm going to name blue for my extra color. And then I'm going to cast Frost Titan. Old Frosty T, here we are. I'm going to lock down one of the Goblin Guides and I can block the other. I'm at 9. They have 3 cards in their hand. This is the danger zone. They didn't cast a creature last turn. They have all spells or all lands, or like some combination of things that are not creatures. Disappointing we're on the draw against Burn, because this start was actually nuts. Okay, they are passing, it seems. 6, 7, 8. I can just cast Deep Fiend, which means I get to attack with Frost Titan. I'm going to lock down Goblin Guide, push damage through. I think that's more important than giving them mana. So I'm going to tap their lands anyway. They have to burn me out in the end step here. Opponent's at 9. Let's hope they just draw some cards with Sunbaked Canyon in the end step and they don't light me up with fire. Cracking a fetch. Let's just draw some Sunbaked Canyon cards and chip it. Lightning Helix, shit. I'm at 2. Okay, I'm dead to any Lightning Bolt effect here. Any instant speed effect. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Cast Deep Fiend. Tap your 4 permanents. And hope you don't have an instant in your hand. Creatures don't matter, lands don't matter, sorceries don't matter. Let's go. Oh my god, their shit is tapped. I guess they could go land Lightning or Lava Spike, which still does it. Creature doesn't matter. They had the Lightning Bolt, they just slow rolled me. Fair enough. I mean, we win that game on the play. That was more competitive. We're also at -1, which means if I didn't have to shock in this breeding pool, we'd be at 1 exactly right now and win the game. That was really close, considering they came out blazing with multiple Goblin Guides. Kitchen Finks get in. Flashweed Lurker is when you cast a spell, put target non-land permanent on top of its owner's library. That's a little slow for this. I like Spell Pierce. Subtlety was good at taking the pressure off. The Replicate was a huge ramp spell. I don't think that's where I want to be for the match, though. Generally speaking. Endurance is a big booty, but that's all it is. I am replacing a green-green 1 creature with a different green-green 1 creature. I mean, the Evoke, Surprise, Emerge line is not nothing, but in a matchup where there's not actually text on the Endurance, I think I'd rather do it like this and cut a Frost Titan, because that's kind of ambitious to go after a 6-drop against Burn. I want some in the deck, because as we saw, like, we were there. It was right there. Okay, I'm going to keep this one. I can Sprawl on turn 1, Wood Elves on turn 2. Utopia Sprawl, make blue. Let's end it. Monastery Swift Spear, okay. Breeding Pool, I'm not going to take 2 if I can avoid it. Wood Elves can get Breeding Pool. Rimewood Falls always comes into play tapped whether I like it or not. I'm actually just going to get that one. It's also snow for this Coatl. Now I'm in the Walking Ballista zone. Ramping towards Frost Titan. This deck is potent. Daring Blaze, jeez. Alright. That sucks. I did show them Mana Dorks in game 1 though. Not surprised here. I can Ballista and just clear this thing. I can Ice Fang Coatl, try to ambush it. I'm untapping into Frost Titan next turn. I think I want the Ballista here. And I don't think they play any 0 mana cards. It's going to kill this Swift Spear and play Breeding Pool tapped. And then I get to Frost Titan next turn. Suspended a Rift Bolt. Funny enough, Repudiate does counter that, because you can counter the Cast It Off Suspend trigger. But I don't have that card. Frost Titan, tap the Sacred Foundry, because Sunbaked Canyon hurts them when they tap it. They can't kill Frost Titan here because of the pseudo ward. I hope they try. Forget those words and send a Rift Bolt at it. Nope, didn't fall for it. I am at 8. That's not a high life total. Passing the turn. I'm just going to main phase this Coatl, see if I draw something, draw some action. Drew some action. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, we're in there. Frost Titan getting in, tapping the Sacred Foundry again. I'm going to Deep Fiend in their upkeep, tap the Sunbaked Canyon. They didn't have anything. Cast with Emerge. Deep Fiend, we also get a Sanctum trigger. They got to deal 8 to me with 1 mana right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't have that much mana. I'm just going to get Ballista. In case they kill one of my creatures, I want the reach. This game's not going to go many more turns. I'm at 5. They would have to have a land and a 1 mana spell that deals 5 to me to be alive here. Okay, we did it. Lost on the draw, 1 on the play. Surprise, surprise. Maybe I should be having all my Frost Titans in, because that's... You gotta turn the corner and kill them somehow. Do I want to cut the last Replicate, Repudiate? Probably. Apologies to you. Replicate, Repudiate. You're very cool, but there's no time to goof around in this matchup. No ramp. No play until turn 3. I think I have to send this. I mean, I have ramp, but it's Wood Elves. I'm looking for Arbor Elf or Utopia Sprawl to make this playable. Yeah, there's just no time to mess around here. Okay, this one doesn't have those two things, but it does have plays. I'm going to keep. And do I send Venser or Griff? Griff is bigger. Venser does more. I mean, Griff, they both cost 4 in this hand. I do have the Kitchen Finks combo. Venser and Spell Pierce are the only ways in my deck to interact with a spell on the stack. A guaranteed spell on the stack. Versus Subtlety that it is in the maybe zone. I'm keeping this hand. I'm just deciding if Venser or Griff's going to the bottom. I think it's Griff. The Emerge creatures are just more replaceable. I have 6 of them and I only have 1 Venser. And on the draw, I might need to remove a clutch spell from the stack. Would love to draw Utopia Sprawl here. Another Wood Elves, okay. First go. I did not give them a target for Searing Blaze. I like that. At least not yet. The second main skewer, I like. That saved me a damage. Riftbolt, having problems now. Oh, there's Arbor Elf. You dick. Just showed up just in the wrong time. I can Arbor Elf, which, if it's still in play on my turn, gets me the 3 mana for Finks. Or I can Coatl, which gets me 2 draw steps that also finds mana and doesn't have to still be in play on my turn. We've seen Searing Blaze. All right, I'm going to pass. I can use Coatl to block and absorb some damage on the way through here. And just hope there's a green source on the top 2 cards in my deck. Do have a land drop. Searing Blaze is on. I'm not happy about it. Have to fetch to cast my spell. Coatl. Do Subtlety, and I get to block. Okay, that went pretty well, except for finding the green source. Boros Charm. I'm at 7. And Suspend Riftbolt. Come on, green source. Oh no, tragic. I mean, I get a blocker and a green source for next turn. I'm gonna put the Rimewood Falls into play. I can Subtlety something, but I am going to 4, like it or not. Boros Charm, live as possible. Just going straight to the face with Riftbolt. Will Subtlety literally anything I can target with it. All right, we're going to combat. I'm not taking this 2 damage. Skull Crack, I'm at 1. Disappointing. All right. That was... Part of that came down to not having my mana set up, but I didn't have my mana set up because Burn doesn't give you time to set up. We narrowly lost game 1 on the draw. We pretty comfortably won game 2 on the play, and this one would have taken some more time. Like, Kitchen Finks does not end the game on its own. I'm at -2 here, which means 1 Finks trigger doesn't even stop this much burn. And if they had lined up the Skull Crack, I don't even gain the life. Yeah, this one looked pretty bad. We just didn't get under us quick enough. This deck, I'm already impressed though. Let's keep rolling.
You come here to level up at Magic.
To level up as a software engineer, check out the new YouTube series Dev Better, hosted by the founder of 7-Factor Software and Magic player, Jeremy Duvall. 7-Factor's small teams of high-performing engineers build custom mobile apps, APIs, and highly scalable systems for Fortune 500 companies and ambitious startups with great ideas. If you'd like to hire 7-Factor, or maybe join their team, contact them through their website at 7factor.io. And don't forget to subscribe to 7-Factor's YouTube for every episode of Dev Better.
On the play for round 2 with a 0 lander. Tough beats. Mulligan that one. 1 lander with multiple Arbor Elves. Much more interested in this. Ape, and I'm actually going to bottom the Ballista. It's between Ballista and Repudiate Replicate, but we've seen the upside of the clone. I'm going straight for Breeding Pool. A little gun shy after playing against Burn last round, but a lot of decks just aren't Burn. Windswept Teeth, come on, land off the top. Give me this Farhaven Elf. Yeah, always had it. Farhaven Elf is on the stack. Put a basic land into play from my deck. I'll get an island here. See what this Windswept Teeth is up to. Detmer's Garden. Oh, I could have held up Stifle on their fetch land. Just pass the turn. That would have been pretty fucked up, honestly. Yeah, they might have just lost the game on the spot if I held up the Stifle. Didn't even think about it. Just not a play pattern I'm in for Modern. Killing my Arbor Elf denied me my Deep Fiend. Oh, no, it didn't. Yes, it did, because Endurance is still 1 short. Yeah, I already have a 3-drop in play. That doesn't change anything. What am I even saying right now? Okay, I'm going to replicate Farhaven Elf. Let's make sure I'm locked in for next turn. A Forest and attack Ren and 6. I'm really disappointed in myself for missing the Stifle. I could have even played Arbor Elf and held up Stifle with my 3 mana. Ugh. There's a Saga. Okay. This is not the 4-color control deck I thought we were playing against. Riot of the Elysian Grove. All right. We are in full weirdo mode here. Played Windswept Teeth from hand rather than regrowing 1. All right. Wow, they spent their Ren and 6 on that. Okay. Opponent's going places here. Subtlety. Neat. I'm going to emerge on their upkeep. It taps them out of a whole turn of Urza Saga development. This is fun. Emerge my sweet Deep Fiend. I'm going to tap all the lands. Go ahead, put your creature in front of my creature. I'd happily Doomblade the Stride of the Elysian Grove if I could. I guess targeting the fetch land didn't make any sense, and I should have targeted the Dryad over the fetch land. Okay, they got me. That is true. But now I get to start bashing and hold up Hardcast Subtlety next turn for... Oh, okay. You're doing this. There's a Titania in the near future. Sanctum of Ugin, cool. Now I get to deploy my Arbor Elf and hold up an Elemental. Ooh. Taking the block. Yes, please. Uh-oh, we're fetching in response. What have I walked into? Nothing, apparently. Arbor Elf, get into play. Might as well. It's here. The only reason not to play Arbor Elf is if I think I'm going to need Subtlety and Endurance next turn. Making a construct. What is the tutor? They already have Zurin Orb in play. Expedition map. Okay. Cool one. Their Dryad's gone. Getting Valakut is not a big deal now. I think I want to just flash in this Endurance for beatdowns. And it's a largish body for future emerging. They've shown me they're a Ren and 6 deck. Hope you can't flash in an artifact. Okay. We're in there again. Oh, there's more spells happening. Iganjo. Okay. Yeah, that does add up to 6. Oh, they said they messed up their stop last turn. They were planning to do this. Okay. Yeah, I don't have another emerge creature to like flip this out and save it. Or it wouldn't save it, but you know, replace it with something. And I still get to Arbor Elf. Opponent has 1 card in their hand. They're about to draw another. I have the Subtlety. That does not add up to lethal. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I need to survive multiple turns here. Expedition map has been activated. Getting Urza Saga. Okay. We're back in the Saga grind. I'm not going to flash in Subtlety. That's not what I'm about here. I think they do have some big scary creature that I need to respect somewhere in their deck. The Wood Elves. Search a library for a forest card, put the card onto the battlefield. That is untapped. I'm going to get basic forest, and I can attack with one of my Arbor Elves now and still hold up Subtlety. Not attacking with the second Arbor Elf. I am predicting something. They also have Zurin Orb here. They can just gain millions of life on the fair and square version. And putting them out is going to be tough. Shadow Spear makes it extra tough. Yeah, they can just make a 4/4 lifelink right now. And the next turn it'll be a 6/6 lifelink. Need a Venser or a Frost Titan ASAP. Walking Ballista. 1, 2, 3, 4. This does go for 4 right now. I tap out a Subtlety to do it. This also triggers the Sanctum, because the mana value is 8 on this card. Ballista for 4. We get a Sanctum trigger, which finds me a Deep Fiend. There's some artifact land they can fetch. Nope. Oh no, what's happening? Why would they tap green-white right now? Okay, I get it. If you sacrifice, okay, so I don't get the search. I get to search for a land with a card type, but I don't get to search for the Deep Fiend. That was pretty tight. The good news is I do get to take out this construct and keep pushing for damage. I don't love losing Ballista, but construct will be 6/6 next turn and start gaining them life. And I need to make something happen before then. Yeah, they've been pretty techy with the channel lands. The Aganjo and Boseiju, both big parts of this game so far. There's also a trick where you can, in response to Saga's last ability, sacrifice it, gain 2 life. It's just totally free. You're losing it anyway. Yep, there it is. They didn't make a construct, though. I hate that. What million mana creature did you draw? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. God, the first turn I'm putting down Subtlety is now they drew Titania. I got tricked by my own Walking Ballista, and now we're going to lose. They can make this many 5/3 creatures. This is the combo kill in the deck. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is Frost Titan even helpful? They gain so much life. Yeah. Mamma Jamma. All right. Some tricksy little stuff from the opponent there. Well played. What do I want to do about this? Force of Vigor does combat both Dryad of the Elysian Grove and Urza Saga, which are cards we saw. Aether Spouts actually beats the elemental board, the all-in elemental board, in a pretty messed up way. Missing on the Stifle that game has me feeling some sort of way, but I still think it's right to take it out. I don't think we need all 4 forces. It's just a thing we can do. And I'm probably going to be playing to hardcast it more often than not. They have some graveyard stuff, but I think I can safely shave an Endurance. Riff actually seems really medium versus the deck with Iganjo in it. Venser and Subtlety all look great. Yeah, I'm cutting the Griffs. I'm all in on Deep Fiend to provide my emerge value. Let's do it this way. This is a fast one. I'm going to keep. I have the Stifle too. I have the Stifle. Utopia Sprawl, naming blue. If they pass with a fetch land, I'm getting them this time. Okay. We're in business, team. This denies me a turn of ramping, but I'm coming for your family here. Let's repudiate that. Splat! I hope you needed that. So we saw Boseiju, Iganjo, a lot of really good targets for a Stifle in this matchup. Ghost Quarter, come the fuck on. I mean, it's fine. I play a lot of basics. I'm going to replace this immediately. Well, I am going to miss a land drop over it. Okay. Don't Ghost Quarter me again. I need this Wood Elves. Just a forest. And an Elvish Reclaimer. Don't think I want to Subtlety this. I'm going to Farhaven, or Wood Elves gets me Breeding Pool. Do I even want Breeding Pool? I'm going to Farhaven now while I'm not using the mana anyway, because Wood Elves
producing an untapped land could be relevant at some future turn if I want to double spell. Blast Zone. Okay, they can start rotating with Reclaimer. Ooh, I can Fiend. All right. Yeah, I'm just going to Fiend and start bringing in the beats. Let's see if they want to spin to advance their own game plan or if they're just going to find a Ghost Quarter and try to mess mine up. But like I'm pretty far ahead of that sort of thing now. Deep Fiend, cast with Emerge. They can rotate in response and get things going with the flagstones. This is just like a full legacy deck happening in front of me right now. They can use all the mana, but at least they have to. They're not casting a 3-drop this turn. Yeah, that was crazy. Just Elvish Reclaimer getting 2 Triomes out of your deck. Terrific. Ooh, Shocked in Temple Garden. Yeah, Shadow Spear makes sense. I would love to Aether Spout my opponent this turn. Come on, untap mana source. Wood Elves. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Yeah, that doesn't do what I need it to. I'm going to attack for 5, though. The Wood Elves gets me started for future turns, future development. I just want Rime Woodfalls. I'm not really bluffing anything here. I'm not going to Ballista for 1. Titania, Voice of Gaia. Reach. Whenever one or more land cards are put in your graveyard from anywhere, gain 2 life. At the beginning of your upkeep, if there are 4 more lands in your graveyard and you both own and control Titania, Voice of Gaia, and a land named Argoth, exile them, meld them. Okay. And the meld is Vidge, Reach, Trample, Haste. Power and toughness are equal to the lands you control. When it enters the battlefield, return all land cards from your battlefield tapped. With 4/+1 counters on target land, becomes a 0/0. All right, well, here's this card. Do you have the Titania land immediately? They're an orb. Okay. Or they spin up the land. That's how this works. Okay. This is cool. We're certainly going to lose to it, but it's cool. Yeah. Okay. It's all there. All the pieces are directly in front of us. I'm just going to try to move myself forward here and beat this thing on the back end. I'm excited to see a meld card in play in Modern. Do I attack? You gain so much life. Does it even matter? Happens in the upkeep. And Reach, Trample, Haste. Power and toughness equal to lands you control, which is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This will be a 10/10 next turn. And they can equip Shadow Spear to it. Might as well push the damage I can push here. I'm going to have to Aether Spout this thing. And I hope I take a few lands with it in subsequent turns. Yep. Gaining so much life. This is awesome. I've seen the 5-mana Titania deck before. I've not seen the new Titania in action. And really sweet deck. We've melded. Oh no, it's normal size. I wish Magic Online displayed this as twice as big. In response to the trigger, you can rotate again, and then you sack all your lances or an orb. All right, maybe I do want Endurance in the deck in large numbers. Not that I think I'm getting another turn here. God, imagine Endurancing in response to this trigger. And Titania is just a 1/1 and they have nothing. Oh man. Truly tragic. Oh, they killed their Titania by going to 0 lands. All right, deal. I don't know if you're supposed to do it that way, but they certainly just did. I mean, I don't think I'm beating this anyway, but going to 0 lands because Titania's power and toughness is equal to lands you control is certainly a decision that was made. Frost Titan. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can Frost Titan the Urza Saga and then just attack. Frost Titan. Leyline Binding. Okay. All right, makes sense that card would be in the deck. Taking out my Deep Fiend. We're going to lock the Saga and attack for 3. This is so much damage I have to get through. I really hope I get to Aether Spout a board full of lands. The Argoth get for 4 mana, you can make a 2/2 bear and mill 3 cards, activate only as a sorcery. Activating as a sorcery is nice, then it's less of a hindrance to Frost Titan. At least I know it's there. Please go for 5 mana Titania. Let's go. Yeah, alright. Aether Spouts. Aether Spouts. They said they're a fan of the channel and playing a little bad because they're nervous.
No worries. This deck is awesome. Okay. Lifelink Trample on the 6/4. Right of the Elysian Grove. Oh no. Expedition map is right there. They could start Valakutting me. A Ghost Quarter. Yeah, that one's pretty good. I do still have more basics in the deck. I'm going to get Island over Forest because there are still Wood Elves in the deck too. And I think I just sit back on defense and hope they go irresponsibly in on the 5-3 beatdown. Moment of truth. How far in are we going? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It kind of sucks that there's multiple engines online here. Like the Yavimaya is, or the Argoth is a thing. Last Zone has text. They have Dryad and Expedition map. If they want to get Valakut, they have to keep some number of lands in play. I don't know if they're gonna just eat their board here, which is what I need them to do to have a chance in this game. No, they just responsibly made enough mana. And Deep Fiend is a cast trigger, not an ETB trigger, so there's nothing to be gained here. Oh God, Ren and 6. It's all coming up against me here. This Aether Spouts is gonna rule though. Map. I assume there's one Valakut in the deck, at least. Yep, there it is. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 mana. That's can't even do anything good here. Picking off my Wood Elves with Valakut triggers. Can I survive this attack? Cannot. Come on, Titania, get into. Shit. Alright, and they can just rebuild this board. But I am at least going to Aether Spouts. We can say that it happened. Get out of here. This doesn't matter at all because they played responsibly. They have enough engines online that somehow deleting 51 power from play just doesn't even matter. Yeah, they're just already cracking fetches and doing more. Another Reclaimer from hand. They're Hellbent again, but that's not going to matter. I can force a Vigor, Zurin Orb, and Leyline Binding. Or dry it. Yeah, there's not enough here. Absolutely outmuscled. Got them with the Stifle game too. Not sure that it mattered. Might have wanted 2 Frost Titans later in the game. But yeah, this deck's awesome. And the 3-mana Titania, this new one, is pretty dope. Bullshit. Great game. On to the next one.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and every other format you'll see on this channel. They have multiple customizations so you can view your deck how you want. Text view, stacks, grid, custom grouping by type, subtype, color, light mode, dark mode. However you want to see your deck, they can provide it for you. My favorite feature is you can choose your set printing, make the deck look exactly how you want it to. The deck screen features expandable sections that show you what tokens your deck makes, your recent change history to the deck, stats about mana curve and opening hand distribution, mana cost distribution. You can deal out sample hands and even play test the deck. Island Ponder. You know I'm keeping this one. This site has everything. Follow me on Moxfield.com to keep up with decks I'm playing for the channel and what I'm up to in paper. I'll see you there.
I'm on the play for round 3, and this hand's really good. I'm in. Oh, my opponent revealed Karuga. I'm excited about this. I actually, looking at the top end of this deck for 1 second while I was tuning it up, was like, wait, is this a Karuga deck? But it's very much not. Because like the Arbor Elf, the Utopia Sprawl, all that stuff doesn't work with Karuga. But you could cut that stuff and just play to the medium size, like the middle, like the Farhaven Elves and stuff, Wood Elves. Missing my land drop. Tough beats here, but I do get to cast Ice Fang Quaddle and try to hit it. Didn't get there. Okay. Big shame. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can emerge Wretched Griff next turn. If I draw a land, I can Deep Fiend. Thanks. Okay. I'm gonna attack with Ice Fang, and then I'm gonna emerge my Griff and try to hit this land drop. 1, 2, 3, 4. Attack the Quaddle. We're Griffin. Drawing a card. Hit the land drop. Too easy.
Okay, we're doing stuff. But Karuga opponent is untapping into their functional deck range now. And I gotta imagine they have the Fire Ice, the Brazen Borrower, all the stuff that other decks that can't play 2-drops play in the format. There's a lot of them with all the Cascade spells. Fairy Time Raveler. Card sucks ass. Can destroy it at least by attacking it. Ooh. Or I could cast Frost Titan. I think that's better. Utopia Sprawl. And this one's also going to be a blue one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Frost Titan. I'm going to lock down your white. I feel like that's the removal color. Very plussed. See where we're going here. Just put Karuga in hand and pass the turn. Please. Please. Need this. Leave my creatures alone. Been playing this game on 2 lands and I've still cast 6, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18 mana worth of cards. They're passing the turn. Teferi is plussed. For the land. Life is good. I'm going to attack first. See where this goes. Solitude. Okay. This. I'm glad I didn't. Oh, and I can't Deep Fiend it because of Fairy. It's going to cost them the extra mana. I'm going to draw or gain a bunch of life and then play another Frost Titan. What did you pitch to this? Touch the Spirit Realm. My goodness. Please don't ephemerate. Please don't ephemerate. Oh, they can't ephemerate. They're a Karuga deck. Okay. I think Arbor Elf is better as Arbor Elf than it is as 1 damage onto Fairy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've seen this one before. Frost Titan, get in. Up the Temple Garden. And I am going to Ballista for 1. Using my mana here. I need some way to pressure to Fairy. Between these 2 creatures, hopefully that's enough. Tap Gingerbread Cabin. You love to see it. Fury. Okay. This can take out Arbor Elf and Walking Ballista. Does not hit Frost Titan in a meaningful way. I'll put a damage onto Fairy. Pitched Omnath to do this. Yeah, no surprise. Omnath is in this deck. No. It's the Spirit Realm. This. Exile target creature. Alright. That's the combo. That's your Ephemerate. Last turn I saw what their combo was and I was still like, don't Ephemerate me. Oh wait, they can't play Ephemerate, but I literally saw their Ephemerate. They can't touch Frost Titan. They don't have enough mana. I can Frost the Fury, kill the Teferi here, copy my Frost Titan, and then we're cooking. There are some Deep Fiends. Back to Teferi, tap the Fury, and I can just copy Frost Titan and keep this Temple Garden locked down. I don't think I'm ready to emerge Deep Fiend. Verdant Catacombs could access red mana for an Omnath here, if there's anything left in their hand. They're also just sub 12 life and would need to produce 3 blockers or cast a sweeper of some kind. That qualifies. However, I can Deep Fiend. I'm going to wait for them to pay the ward and then emerge this. Full trick. Fiend. I'll tap your enchantment to show you who's boss. And you're at 11 life points. That's how much power and toughness I have in play. Or power I have in play. I have 12 toughness. Yeah. Okay, that was sick. Okay, we're a Leyline Binding deck. That makes sense. Subtlety looks pretty important here. Force of Vigor might have some text. Teferi's annoying. Once again, Endurance looks like it's not really doing anything big other than being an Endurance. Wretched Griff. It did make that game possible. Fencer and Subtlety just look so good against this deck full of expensive cards. Teferi is a beating. Do I want Mystical Dispute? We've seen Teferi and Omnath and Karuga as blue cards. We've seen Solitude and Fury and Touch the Spirit Realm, all of which are blowouts if I try to clone. I did get a good window to do it that game, but I don't know that I'll get that window in the future. Lashwood Lurker can delete a Teferi, no questions asked. But this is also just... No, I don't know when I would want this card.
It might not be worth the sideboard slot. Just trying to think of when I would even bring this card in. And I'm not coming up with many good answers. This is my plan. Let's go. This one is a little slow, but I am going to keep it. It's slow and steady, but that's also their deck. See if I get punished. A Sprawl or an Elf. Hyperdrive it. And I do have the Deep Fiend curve here of Elf into Deep Fiend. Maybe. This mana does not cast a Fairy. It does cast Fable. That's a good card. Oh, Arbor Elf. Thank you for showing up. But luckily, Wood Elves lets me double spell here. Get the... I already have 2 blue. I'm just going to get a basic. I can Deep Fiend or Frost Titan next turn. Guarded Omnath and Touch the Spirit Realm. Those are good cards. They must be hurting for mana. I'm definitely not losing my Arbor Elf for this. Another tap Gingerbread Cabin. An ambitious thought about how many forests are actually in this deck, it seems. Okay, clearing out my Arbor Elf. Super glad I didn't block now. Would have been a huge, just limited combat trick blowout. Okay, I cannot Frost Titan now. I can Deep Fiend and Tutor for the next Deep Fiend. I think that's even good. I'm going to attack with the Wood Elves. And 1, 2, 3, then I'll have 3 mana. I can't Wood Elves and Deep Fiend. If I sack this Sanctum, I'm extra far away from Frost Titan. I can do the string together Deep Fiends thing. I could also just Wood Elves twice right now and set up the mid game. I think I'm actually doing that. Forest. Okay, now I'm just gassed up with hard cast options as the game moves forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One land gets me Deep Fiend into Deep Fiend, and I will double block the Goblin this time. It's just material. They did their job. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana in the opponent's available zone right now. In the available mana zone. Don't tell any judge I said that. Shape anew. Oh, we're dead. The controller of target artifact sacrifices it and reveals the card's top of the library to reveal an artifact. Alright. What's the artifact? Portal to Phyrexia. Each opponent sacks 3 creatures. At the beginning of your upkeep, put target creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. Okay. Yeah, we're dead. Got it. Utopia Sprawl is a freebie. They can return Omnath, and I need to Utopia Sprawl first. That one in. In blue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Frost Titan can lock down Reflection of Kiki Jiki at least. Or not. Okay. Alright, now we know more about their deck. Force of Vigor is more important than I thought, even originally. They do also have some graveyard stuff. But I don't think that graveyard stuff, like if I can keep Portal to Phyrexia out of play, then the graveyard stuff doesn't matter. I don't think I want my endurances back. I am going to cut a Wretched Griff and get a little lower here. Okay, let's go. Really cool decks this league. Brothers War is awesome for Constructed. Okay. I am all dressed up, currently nowhere to go. But I'd rather be dressed up than not. Okay, now I'm dressed up with somewhere to go. I'm going to Utopia Sprawl. Name blue. Fetch for Breeding Pool. Untap this forest, and then Wood Elves. And the Rimewood Falls that I'd like to search for is already in my hand. Let's get another Breeding Pool. I don't think Death Touch on the Quaddle is going to be important for this matchup. And I can Frost Titan next turn. Please don't have an untapped blue source. We've seen Mystical Dispute. Jetmir's Garden does not cast Mystical Dispute. Okay. They can't dispute with the mana they have. They can Solitude take out my Arbor Elf. That's really responsible and annoying. And they're gonna flicker it, take out my Wood Elves. I'm less worried about that. But that was a really responsible play. Okay, Venser. I could bounce Solitude. I could bounce Jetmir's Garden. Or I could just wait. Yeah, I'm actually going to bounce Jetmir's Garden right now while they're tapped out. Fuck your Solitude. I'll just trade with it. I don't care. Yeah, Subtlety doesn't do that. Block. And, okay. Let's see if they found Mystical Dispute. I'm making the play that I have. Please resolve, please resolve, please resolve. No! Yeah, my deck just doesn't. Unless I, like, wait for them to tap out, I don't really have a way around that. And if Frost Titan resolves there, the game is over. I don't know. It's tricky. Let's just draw another Frost Titan, make it irrelevant. Bummer. Okay, now we are in trouble again. Got to figure out something here. They put Karuga in hand. And I am going to fetch. I would rather draw a spell than a land here. I already have 3 snows for Coatls. I'm just going to get Breeding Pool out of the way. Yeah. Always had it. Frost Titan. Freeze your Jetmir's Garden. And let's go. We're back in it. Windswept Heath is in play. Sanctum of Ugin. Okay. Have fired off an attack. I'm going to keep locking down the Jetmir's Garden. And I'll play my land someday. That'll cash in. And I'm at the full 8. I can just keep Fiend if I draw one. Fable. I have the Force for the Fable if I need it. Okay. All right. Gingerbread Cabin finally getting paid. I'm saving Force of Vigor to blow out a Shape anew. That's just not a card I want to resolve. Waddle. Cool. I can attack and tap the Goblin and just keep pushing my damage in. And then I can cast Coatl off of this Utopia Sprawl land. And Coatl again. I'm still holding up Force of Vigor here. And land. Okay. Pretty good turn. I have lethal on board now. I can Force of Vigor to destroy the food if they try to shape anew. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. They're 1 mana away from... Oh, they dumped the Karuga. Nice. They're 1 mana away from protecting with Mystical Dispute. Just hope they don't have it. Fury. Okay, this kills 2 of my 2 Coatls. My opponent is no longer dead on board. Sad. And I'm gonna try to draw a good spell and win the game. That's not what I wanted. I'm gonna attack, tap Fury, them to 1. Well, they have food, so they can gain life. And here's Arbor Elf. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can pay for a Mystical Dispute on my Force of Vigor. They're just eating their food right now. Sure. Collection of Kiki Jiki wakes up this turn. I can Force of Vigor it if we end up in a spot where I need to interact with this thing. Attacking with Goblin. They plan on having another creature because this attack puts them dead on board if they don't do something else. Go for the shape. Go for the shape. All right. Force of Vigor, target your 2 artifacts and enchantments. Please don't have a counterspell. Zap, zap, zap. One of us is dead here. They floated white with their treasure, so they're not going to shape anew. And we've cleared the Fable. There's 4 possible mana available. Oh, they can shape anew again. Okay. Okay. Do you have a second shape anew? I'm kind of rooting for them at this point. That would have been so cool. All right, yeah, I kind of teased the Gingerbread Cabins. They looked really bad the first 2 games, but that line at the end, they're basically playing a creativity deck, but for shape anew instead of for creativity, and Gingerbread Cabin serving the role of Dwarven Mine. Really cool stuff. And we're finally on the board with a win after a bunch of great magic.
We're a few rounds into the video. Thanks for sticking with me. Friendly reminder that if you're still here and having fun, smash that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, you can use my affiliate link for TCG Player to support the channel while you shop for cards, and you can try any deck anytime with a cardhoarder.com loan account for Magic Online. All these links are in the video description below. Now back to the league.
I'm on the play versus a Kihira in round 4. Once again, a no-lander. There are 20 lands in this deck, which is not really playing with fire. A responsible land count. Oof. This one has a land, but it doesn't mean I can keep it. With Arbor Elf for Utopia Sprawl, I would. I'm going to go to 5. Okay, here we go. I'm going to send one of these Frost Titans to the bottom, and probably just the other Frost Titan. My love for Frost Titan is rekindled after this league, though, I gotta say. It's good stuff. I was a big player back in its standard format. Never really seen since. Primeval Titan gets most of the love. Sun Titan, you see here and there. Grave Titan was an alternate cast option in Reanimator. The 6 mana is achievable, especially with Dark Ritual in your deck. And it was just worth reanimating too, because it was a lot of power and toughness into play. And Inferno Titan, you see that in some mono red nonsense decks from time to time. Yeah, the whole cycle just great. Primeval Titan might be a little too good, but home run Mythic Rare cycle from the early days of Mythic Rares. Anyway, here's a Wood Elves. Press down. That's shitty, and you should feel bad about it, opponent. I'm mad at you. I was going to say, yeah, counter this. I don't mind, but that's not a counter spell. It's so much worse. It counters the important part of the spell and also draws them a card. Ooh, the Desperation Shark Typhoon trying to hit the land drop. I feel for you, but you also love to see it. Straight to cleanup. I'm going to attack for 1. Now that they're missing land drops, I want to be kind of cautious here. You don't want to just fire off Deep Fiend into counterspell. I kind of want to make them do another awkward cantrip thing. Oh, bummer. It didn't work. All right, I'll Deep Fiend. Let's tap all your lands. The Dress Down and Shark Typhoon are both in the graveyard for this Hall of Heliod if they want to recur something. I am excited about this. Hall of Heliod in Modern with Shark Typhoon. That's my thing that I do. Yeah, Binding's brutal, because I don't have blue mana up to replace the first Deep Fiend with the second. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm just going to cast Endurance right now before they get any ideas about using their graveyard or countering my spell. My deck does have a lot of mid-range flash creatures, which is pretty exciting against a draw-go control deck like this. They're fine in land drops, though. Life is pain. I'll attack you for 3. If they try to kill this thing, I can emerge. I think I'm just going to hang out on Endurance until they do something I need to respect. As much as I'd love to just tap them out and bash with a 5 power creature, they've made it clear they have Leyline Binding, they probably have Counterspell, and I'm not even that far away from casting the Fiend. Okay. Repudiate's interesting because you can counter the ETB trigger on Leyline Binding. Archmage's Charm, target player draws 2. Do I want to upgrade to a 5/6? I don't think so. I just think that giving up a 2 for 1 here is not a good idea. That's Zagoth Triome, and they're binding my Leyline. Okay, I will emerge here. Try to tap all these lands and tap your Leyline Binding for good measure. And they're putting Dress Down on top of the deck. Sure. It's just a cantrip, whatever. Solitude. You know what's fun? I can counter the exile target creature mode. Mono green, Stifle. Got him. Exiled Prismatic Ending to do that. Oh, they had another one. Whatever. Whatever. Boring. Nice 5 for 2. But actually, yeah, nice 5 for 2. That worked out better for you than it did for me. They're holding Dress Down, and then some number of mystery cards. Sanctum of Ugin, a little late to the party here. Back for 1. And I'll drop the Sanctum. They have enough mana to Dress Down, and then rebuy Dress Down. Okay, Archmage Charm, pretty good too. It's hitting land drops over there. And Teferi. Bottle's not even really a card you want to bounce. Yeah, Leyline, the empty Leyline Binding is a card you want to bounce. Binding my Coatl. Fair enough. I accept. And Arbor Elf. I believe they're over the hump here, but they are not applying pressure yet, and their life total is slowly dwindling. Another draw 2 with Archmage Charm. Also Walking Ballista in the deck somewhere, but we know they have Dress Down in hand. That is not a good interaction on my end. Ballista arrives with 0 counters on it if they Dress Down. Okay, they found the 3rd Solitude. And yeah, we're good here. I know they have Dress Down. They have Solitude going, to Fairies active. But they got over the hump there. Right, Force of Vigor against the Prismatic Ending deck I like. Veil of Summer, Subtlety, Mystical Dispute. This is a lot of cards. As fun as Stifling is, just trying to clone anything versus the deck with at least 8 instant speed removal spells for 1 or 0 mana, not going to fly. Wretched Griff seems kind of medium. Ballista versus the Dress Down deck, holy shit. I don't think I can even risk that as an option. As much as I would like to have a piece of reach in my deck against the control deck, I don't think that's the way to do it. They do use their graveyard for endurance. We saw Prismatic Ending, which makes Arbor Elf maybe a little wonky. And if this deck has any Supreme Verdicts in it, I still have Utopia Sprawl and the 3 mana ramp creatures. I could do a thing where I pile up on the mid-range and just bring in Kitchen Finks as a sticky threat that they need to exile to deal with effectively. What would that look like? If I cut Arbor Elf entirely, I could get 2 Finks and a Spell Pierce in the deck. 2 Finks and a Spell Pierce on top of everything else I'm doing. Yeah, I'm kind of into this. Just get scrappy in the red zone rather than try to do big emerge stuff. Their deck has counterspells and Teferi in it. That's tough to commit to a 2-for-1 on. I'm going to keep this. It's not explosive, but I boarded out half of my explosive potential. I'm just going to run with solid right now. I get 2 draw steps and a Coatl trigger to find land number 3, and then Wood Elves gets me really off the ground. And send it. I'm going to fetch a Breeding Pool here. I don't think Death Touch matters. At least not for a long time. 3rd land. Already got it. Easy game. I could Coatl right now in response to the fetch, or in this end step before they can dispute it or dress it down. Actually, I'm going to do that. I haven't seen a 2-drop that I need to Mystical Dispute, and getting this creature into play drawing this card is valuable to me. This lets them Prismatic Ending, but then they're tapped out going into my turn. Yeah, sure, that's fine. Now I can Wood Elves for untapped Breeding Pool and hold up Mystical Dispute on their turn. Pretty cool. And they couldn't dress that down because I did the Coatl on my turn, which caused the removal on their turn. I'll just ram Teferi into Dispute right now. Let's go. Easy money. Why do you think I shocked that in? You saw me take 2. No respect at all. Okay. Utopia Sprawl can go on to the basic forest. Then I can Sanctum of Ugin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I can Deep Fiend, trigger Sanctum, and still play Frost Titan next turn. 1, 2, 3, 4. Deep Fiend, emerge it. Trigger the Sanctum. Tap all their lands first. Just floating some mana here. I would like to search for another Deep Fiend, thank you. They got mana floating. They could do stuff now. Leyline Binding, that qualifies as stuff. This gets me a pretty safe Sun Titan on my turn. Ooh, they missed their land drop. That's big. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They would need Subtlety to stop this. And if I turn... I can't really take them off any colors. If I hit Hallowed Fountain, then if they don't get black or green and blue and white, because they have to filter into Mystic Gate to get that. I think that makes sense to me. I don't know. But Sun Titan's in against a player who just missed a land drop. Or a Frost Titan. I think I just said Sun. Huh. Well, they have Solitude with exactly enough mana to deal with this. Disappointing. And pitch Elementals. Pretty good. Another Utopia Sprawl and a Sanctum of Ugin. Okay. Hey. Oh, wait. I don't have Arbor Elves in my deck, which means I should Utopia Sprawl, move things around a little bit in case I run into a some land destruction or bounce spell that would clear a land that's holding multiple enchantments, like Spreading Seas. Just played around that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Bummer. Yeah, I could have lost 2 Utopia Sprawls there and only lost 1. Immediately rewarded. The Rimewood Falls. I needed an untapped land there to get Deep Fiend going, and then Sanctum finds the second Deep Fiend, or the third Deep Fiend, and then we just fiend out.
They're playing Drago over there. All right, cool. Now I have 9 mana, so I can Deep Fiend into Deep Fiend and hardcast both of them. Shark Typhooning in the end step. You got it. I could resolve my 5/6 now, but I think I'd rather fight them on their turn. Paying the iron price for this one. All your lands. I fully expect a counterspell. Saying. Yep. Still get all these effects because they're triggers. Based on the spell being cast, it doesn't matter if it resolves. Find another Deep Fiend. And I'll just fetch now. Get my F6 value. Put Breeding Pool into play. And maybe I should have main phased that or end stepped it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Having both Solitude, Leyline Binding, and Counterspell is just such a beating. Pro decks are fucked up. What have I been doing all these years? Yeah, now they're showing me Solitude and don't even care about this thing. I think I'm going to wait until I can do 2 things, at least be a little patient here. I'm not just going to shove into their 5 spells. They've missed land drops. We know every card in their hand is a spell. Okay. Frost Titan is exactly what I was waiting for. Now I can Deep Fiend in the end step, beat up on their mana, and then untap and Frost Titan. Archmage Charm to draw 2. You got it. They know I'm holding Deep Fiend. They wouldn't have just Archmage Charm and dumped a counterspell if they didn't have it covered elsewhere. Okay, in my end step, it's time. Deep Fiend, tap all of your dual lands, then tri-lands, counterspell, and dress down in the end step. No! That turns off my Frost Titan. Still gonna cast it. You can't stop me. Okay, green, let's Utopia Sprawl. That one's a freebie. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's got to be a better way to tap this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. The old 6/6 no abilities. 6 mana 6/6. Worse than Colossal Dreadmaw. I hope they get greedy and give me something to Spell Pierce right now, like Leyline Bind in my end step. Nope, played around it. Dark continues feasting. Supreme Verdict. Yep. Even left up the 2 for Spell Pierce on their uncounterable spell. Smart. Fencer, huh? Okay. Fencer can target Leyline Binding, but then they just replay it. And I have 2 creatures briefly, and then, yeah, Venturing Leyline Binding is the same as Venturing nothing, except it costs 1 to come back down. I can pretty safely concede this game. I don't think it's winnable, but I am going to play it out. Veil of Summer is really exciting. If a card can make this possible, it's Veil of Summer. Memory Deluge. Okay. There could be some world where we just fight some creature into play and it stays there. Oh god. Do they have a Shark Typhoon? They've dressed down. But they do have a Shark Typhoon. Yeah, we're dead. Can't beat Hall of Heliod. Both morally and actually can't beat Hall of Heliod. I'm not going to Quaddle now. If they rebuy Dress Down, I will. They went for Shark Typhoon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I can Quaddle now. We're in there. We got Death Touch. Oh, Endurance. That's a good card that I wish I had thought of before their Hall resolved. No, that's fine. That gives me a long-term plan. This Memory Deluge is there. They have the Hall div with Shark Typhoon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Are they going to cast this thing? We all know that I strongly disagree with doing this. But okay, here it is. 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess I do have to respond to it. Fencer. I'm going to Spell Pierce now because Veil can punch through later, where Spell Pierce is kind of needs a spot like this. Oh, I should have Spell Pierced the Shark Typhoon. What am I doing? Oh, that was so bad. Yeah, I just lined up what I needed to and then made the wrong decision. I should have let Venser get countered and then counter the Spell Pierce, then Endurance them, and then they have nothing going on, and I have a stacked board. Shit. Okay, I'll attack you for 3 and then lose to your Shark Typhoon next turn because I'm a dildo. Okay. Ottawa is in play now. Supreme Verdict. Yeah, that's a good one. My creatures are gone.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can't Shark Typhoon right now. Guess I have to push with Endurance. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Shark Typhoon. Shark is currently smaller than Endurance. If they try to counterspell me, then it'll be even smaller. Veil of Summer. I'm making my stand right now. Ooh, Subtlety. That's kind of a sweet card. Okay. Endurance, target you. And then I'm going to cast Subtlety right now while it's uncounterable. And just try to push damage, I guess. Force of Vigor, not bad. We go in for 6. I could blow up their Deep Fiend right now. Or blow up my Leyline Binding and unleash my Deep Fiend. If they have another Supreme Verdict, I don't want to give them that too. If I blow up Leyline Binding, they can 1, 2, rebuy. 1, 2, 3, Cycle Shark Typhoon, block rebinding. That doesn't even do anything. I mean, that is another thing they got to deal with. It's a Shark Typhoon they can't rebuy for a turn. All right, I'm firing off the force. Making moves. Let's take out your Spreading Seas as well. Value. For one of us. Maybe not me. Okay, Archmage Charm countered Force of Vigor. That's fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Solitude beats me. Another Endurance. Okay. I'm going to just hurl in here, and they need 2 answers because they're attacking with 2 3-power creatures. Shark Typhoon by itself doesn't stop me. Wow. They've seen counterspells in my deck and still waited for me to attack to do this. Either Discipline or Insanity. Of the above. Okay, Deep Fiend, tap your Solitude. JK, I don't have that. Okay, we know they have a giant Shark Typhoon in their hand. Kahira's still looming. There's nothing to rebuy right now with Hall of Heliod. Good job, Endurance. Now they're at 6, and chucking Endurances at them isn't going to kill them. Frost Titan, though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can Frost Titan and Endurance. I'm going to cast Frost Titan. If it resolves, I'm targeting Hall of Heliod. Let's lock that down. Not attacking, as the Shark will just eat my Endurance. We have 2 cards left in hand. One of them is Shark Typhoon. Fetching in the end step. Still hanging on to that Shark Typhoon. Now I have enough damage in play that deploying the Endurance is worth doing. Shark Typhoon can't block 3 creatures. They're out their graveyard again. Come on. Counterspell. Nope, no counterspell, no Deep Fiend. Gotta make my move. It's not getting better than this. I'm gonna keep Hall of Heliod tapped. Shark Typhoon doesn't win it here. Oh, Hall of Storm Giant literally in play. I should have targeted that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, when did that come into play? All right, yeah, I just fucked up. If I tap this, all doesn't matter. Yeah, they must have another removal spell, because they didn't cycle Shark for 1. Leyline Binding. Okay, so they had Binding plus Shark Typhoon anyway, but that was really fucking bad. All right, I guess I'll keep playing this game with my opponent at 2. Yeah, if I had tapped the Hall of Storm Giants, then it doesn't get to be a creature. Ward doesn't kick in retroactively. They do need to activate the Hall, and it has to be a creature at the point where it gets targeted. Or this is an ability anyway. Oh no, Ward is ability. What was I thinking? I don't know. Okay. This one is out of reach now. Solitude, they're still sitting on that giant Shark Typhoon in hand. Hall of Heliod's about to unlock. Really great match. We grounded out as long as we could. Awesome deck. Let's keep rolling.
For the absolute best Magic the Gathering apparel on the market, check out the link in the video description to coalesceapparel.shop, and be sure to use the code BoshNRoll for 10% off when you check out. On the play for the final round, trying to salvage the 2-3. I'm going to keep slow and steady here. I'm going to lead on Vista. Maybe we'll play against a matchup where Endurance is just a banger, and having main deck Endurance matters. Oh, nope, it's Hammer. Force of Vigor, going to come in big from the sideboard. I don't really need to crack this fetch now. I'll crack for an island this time. I'm gonna Wood Elves this turn. Uh-oh. We're just gonna get Cornball Cauldron. Yep. Nice deck with no mana in it. Or no removal in it. Me. Lots of mana. Sun Titan's pretty good against Cauldron, though. We just gotta get there. I'm gonna search for this island. And then go to my turn. Oh, there's Coatl right on time. Barhaven Elf. Go get a Forest. As the Wood Elves, I can Wood Elves and Icefang Coatl next turn and ramp twice or do two things. Or Farhaven Elf, land is tapped. And this is a deck that isn't great against just getting tapped a bunch of times. If I can string some Deep Fiends together or get Frost Titan running, we could actually stabilize this at a low life total and be fine. Another Springleaf Drum. Subtlety. A little late to the party on that one. I am gonna tutor up another basic forest, try to preserve my life total here. And draw a card with Coatl. There we go. Alright. I'm ready to Frost Titan next turn. Might as well attack. My plan is to win with damage eventually, and their attacker has trample. Uh-oh. Just stone forging in another equipment. Nettle Cyst. Okay. Are they gonna equip it right away? What's the plan here? That put me to 1. Okay, I guess I'm blocking so I can fetch. Alright, yeah. If they equip the Nettle Cyst, this is a 13 power creature now. I'm reading Stoneforge Mystic. What the fuck? This opponent's going crazy. Just any... Okay, another Nettle Cyst. Fine. I'm gonna block. Stay at 1. After I fetch. I can't take 13 here. I lose. And I lose to the Stoneforge Mystic anyway. Okay, whatever. Do my best. Go to 2 so I can fetch to 1. And then try to stabilize with Frost Titan. Deep Fiend. Is that better right now than Frost Titan is? I think that it is. Yes, it is much better. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I do have it back with Coatl. And I'm going to let them go into their turn and go into, like, start combat and everything. I want as much committed to the board as possible when I start tapping stuff. Like, if they put this Nettle Cyst in, I don't really know exactly what I'm waiting for here. Okay. They committed Shadow Spear to the attack. And at the beginning of combat, I'm going to Deep Fiend. Tap the Germ Token, the Stoneforge Mystic, the Treasure Vault, and the land. You can put in Nettle Cyst here before everything happens. Or not. That's cool too. Alright, now we just gotta tempo this opponent out for the rest of the game forever. That helps. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Shit. I'm 1 short of... Okay. I'm gonna just attack for a 6. And I'm gonna Deep Fiend again using Coatl this time. I was 1 short of endurancing out the Deep Fiend and keeping Coatl. Not that important. Attacking for 10 next turn. Ingenious Smith. Don't care about that. Steel Citadel. Triggers the Smith. It makes the germ bigger. Combat Thresher. My god. This enters battlefield, draw a card, and it's in prototype mode. So this is a 1/1 double strike. Okay. That is in play now. They're going pretty wide on me here. Not be argued. In combat. Deep Fiend. Merge off the Coatl. Tap all of the creatures and the Citadel. Are they interested in Nettle Cyst this time? Still not interested. Okay. Unless I draw another Deep Fiend, this isn't going to matter. But we've made a good run out of it. Endurance, Frost Titan. Frost Titan can freeze the Germ. And they still have a bunch of attackers, and they can move Nettle Cyst and Shadow Spear over. Maybe I'm supposed to Subtlety one of these creatures along the way. Is there... There might be enough meat here to just put power and toughness between me and being dead. They have to re-equip Nettle Cyst, that's 2. Re-equip Shadow Spear, that's 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. I get 1 attack in. Yeah, they just need Nettle Cyst, which is good for 16 minus 6. It's 10. It'd be 11 next turn. They have a double strike creature. Yeah, double strike trample's pretty messed up. Don't think I have an attack here. Treasure Vault can chuck a bunch of stuff in all at once. Combat Thresher. Brothers War coming in big in this league. Almost all my opponents have done something cool from the new set. Moving Nettle Cyst over. Yep, that is what we thought was going to happen. They did not put that on the double strike creature. I guess they don't have to because that creature is lethal on its own. Oh yeah, this is just 2 lethal creatures. Yeah, I am way too far behind on these multiple Nettle Cysts. Oh, played another Combat Thresher rather than attacking for lethal with what they have. 5, 10, 16. I mean, I do beat this thing in combat. And I lose a lot of stuff. I end up with a Deep Fiend at the end of this. But we were just dead. Arbor Elf, another Titan. Yeah, I'm not getting through the Shadow Spear double strike creatures. This one was, again, weirdly close. They went super wide on me, which is unusual, at least in traditional Hammer. That's kind of backup plan, not an early plan. I think this is an Aether Spout matchup. Don't know if it's a Kitchen Finks matchup. Countering a triggered ability is not nothing in this one. Endurance, once again, Endurance looking like the card that isn't really pulling its weight in a way that's important. Force of Vigor in. Subtlety also isn't great here. Because unless I'm willing to fire it off on like a Stoneforge Mystic or a Esper Sentinel, in Pure Steel Paladin is pretty good later on. I think Wretched Griff might be a little slow for this. I mean, Subtlety, once I get to 4 mana, is pretty good. That's a big ask, though. Do I want my Finks to gum up the board? Do I want Spell Pierce? That one's actually the least embarrassing, but they cast a lot of creatures that game. Finks would add green cards for Force of Vigor, which there are 8, 17, 21 of, or this one is, the split card's also green. There's 24 green cards in the deck. That's kind of a lot. And I'm a ramp deck. I'll get to hardcast mode eventually. Do I think Finks is better than Subtlety, I guess is the question. Maybe. I think Venser is amazing. I would actually rather have 3 Vensers than any number of Subtleties in this matchup. But I don't know that's true for the whole format. Okay, I'm going to run it like this. Bring in 1 Finks, leave 1 Subtlety. Utopia Sprawl into Coatl, triple Deep Fiend. I mean, that is a great way to tempo them out. I'm going to keep this. I just need to find a way to unlock my Fiends. I'm going to get basic Forest and then Sprawl it. Sprawl naming blue. This gets me Coatl next turn. All the development stage here. Fast. Ooh, Kitchen Finks. Cool. That is a thick one to sack to all these Deep Fiends in my hand. All 4 of them now. Jeez. In Finks, you can sacrifice to Deep Fiend twice. That is like literally the perfect card here. You need a land though in the next turn or 2. Wretched Griff. You hate to see it. Kitchen Finks get in. Coatl attack. We see Portable Hole. That can both remove Coatl or get Ingenious Smith too big for Coatl to beat. I just need an untapped land this turn, and then we're cooking. If I don't draw the land, I'll have to emerge Griff next turn, which I don't really want to do. I want to tempo out with Deep Fiend. Combat Thresher. Okay, there's that double strike creature that draws a card. Easy. On land. Oh no. Well, I'll attack with my creatures. Both of them. This is a 1/1. You take your beats, and then I'll cast Wretched Griff. Attacking Kitchen Finks. And try to draw a card here. Well, I'm going to draw a card. Try to hit my land. Ugh. This would have been the time. You were the chosen one. And Griff gets Elder Deep Fiend going next turn, though. I can still draw the land. Portable Hole's going to take out Ice Fang Coatl. Oh no, taking out Utopia Sprawl. That's smart. Oh shit. Now I really need a land. Come on, blue land off the top. Blue land off the top. Had it. Had it. Attack with my flying creatures. And I'm gonna have to... I could Farhaven Elf this turn. Keep my flying creatures, keep my blocker. Yeah, I'm actually gonna Elf. This gives me multiple 3-drops and the mana to get these Deep Fiends going for real. I'm also now 1 mana away from Aether Spouts, which is just a hilarious way to beat Hammer. This does give them a full cycle of Urza Saga use. Get both constructs and a tutor. Probably get Shadow Spear, would be my guess, unless they already have it. Yep. Please don't have the mana to equip it right now. What I ask of you. Come on, I thought we were friends with your 6 cards in hand. They didn't equip it though. That's really interesting. Am I in chump block mode, or am I in these are built to tap creatures and nothing else mode? I'll chump one of these. I've got things to sacrifice. We'll be okay. Walking Ballista. That one's got some reach on it. Attacking for 4 flying. They played Iganjo. Okay, Solitude. That makes sense. They could have equipped Shadow Spear and didn't. Oh, you're also an Ephemerate deck. This is bullshit. Yeah, we've seen the Ephemerate also. Okay. I'm losing this. And yeah, this is the Ephemerate. This is why they didn't do the other thing. I'm gonna have to Deep Fiend now. Fucking A. And my Deep Fiend is just smaller than all their creatures. We're so dead. I'm gonna need to survive this turn somehow. Yeah, they can just rebound Ephemerate on Deep Fiend if they even want to. They do go to 26. I'm gonna have to draw an untapped land and just get them with Aether Spouts. That's the only way out of this game from here. Missing that one land drop early on. None of this would have happened. They would have died without casting a spell this game. Nettle Cyst. Oh, am I dead now? Is that enough? 21. Oh yeah. Yeah, we're dead now. 20. Yep. Just dead. Cool. Yeah. Cool. GG. Didn't even put Nettle Cyst on the double strike creature. Didn't need it. Okay. Absolutely obliterated there. Missed a land drop one time and then was not able to unload my Deep Fiends. Also just Deep Fiend flooded. You don't usually want to see 4 of those in a game. But all right. I gotta say, the amount of fun I had recording this league compared to my record in this league is not, they are not related to each other. They do not correlate with each other. We went 1-4, which is not a good record, but this was an absolute blast to play. And I feel like every game was close, and with some tuning, you could probably get this into something competitive. I mean, I don't know if it's going to be tier 1, but there's some stuff on the edges here, like Repudiate, Replicate had some fun moments in the league, but that could probably just be some creature that helps with the plan, or like I said in the original deck tag, just some Brazen Borrowers to buy time, something to do on 2 mana, which the deck really doesn't have a lot of. That could get us in the right direction. We play Growth Spiral in that spot, but we don't really have a lot of... We don't play a high land count in 4 of our land stat for colorless. Ignore that. Don't play Growth Spiral. But Brazen Borrower or similar in that spot would be great. Could also dip into red like I talked about and get Kozilek's Return into this main deck and just beat every creature deck because we have Wrath going in, Wrath coming out. You could make this more tempo-y. Like put a bunch of Spell Pierces in the Repudiate, Replicate spot, like 2 Spell Pierces and a Brazen Borrower, and then really punch through in the spots where it's tight. Because a lot of these games came down to I was 1 mana short to emerge on the turn I needed to, or they countered the Deep Fiend. There's just so many good things to do at instant speed between Solitude, Leyline Binding, Counterspell. Messing people up in their upkeep in this format isn't really that safe. You could play cards to make it safer. It's weird to say about a deck that we 1-4'd with, but I'm genuinely impressed by what this deck is doing, and I think there is something here. Like if you're not trying to win the Pro Tour, if you're looking for something fun to do at FNM and win some matches and have a good time doing something unique, this is totally viable and has my full endorsement at that level. We need to dig in and cut some of the cute cards for just abstractly or non-abstractly, just concretely better cards before I can recommend you take this to your regional Star City event or whatever. Lashweed Lurker did not do anything, and I couldn't even think of a spot where it would do anything. That should be something else. The Repudiate Replicates, these are flex slots. I think one Ballista to tutor for, if it's what you're looking for, is probably good. And that opens up 4 slots in the main deck right there. You could play Wild Growth to add to the Utopia Sprawl business. And you play Wild Growth? Is that card legal in Modern? Before I recommend a card that doesn't exist. Oh, actually, I know that this is not legal in Modern because the only foil is 7th edition, and every Modern card exists in foil. Okay, yeah, don't play Wild Growth. That card's not in the format. Something else to bridge from 1 to 3, though, even just Llanowar Elves might do it, or Birds of Paradise. Get yourself that turn 2 Farhaven Elf, turn 3 Deep Fiend more often. That could do it. These are the ideas I've put out into the world after playing 5 matches with the deck. I recommend you, listener, and you, Abe, try those out. Let me know how they go. This was a lot of fun. I don't know that I have more to add right now on my minimal experience, but those are my thoughts coming out of League One. Abe, thank you for sharing this awesome deck with us. I had a genuine blast playing it. Everybody else, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, check out Patreon, all that other stuff in the video description, and I'll see you next time.